So it's 8 minutes per interviewee, but Brian gets 16 minutes, and for your information, Brian, it's on that screen down there. There are a couple of questions which I'm going to ask everybody, and then the questions vary according to what was in their awards entries. And so the first question, which is really, tell us a little bit about your firm, Brian, so we can understand where you're coming from in the rest of the answers.
Okay. Good morning. We started, our firm, about 23 years ago, and I joined as a partner 10 years ago. So there was 3 partners when we started, which was great. I mean, we had we worked quite well together, but then one by one they dropped off. I didn't bump them off. They actually, they retired gracefully. And so we took the 3-partner firm to a sole practitioner, which meant obviously we had to change the way that we did things because 3 partners' work by one was just not doable. So we had to just think, take it from being a traditional practice into more of a modern practice using staff and the likes, to take more responsibility really. We are in Darlington. We have a satellite office in Sunderland, and we're just looking at another satellite office in London in the near future, hopefully. Wow. So that's something to look forward to and to work towards. I was going to tell you.
How many people in the team? How many clients roughly?
Yeah, our team, we have an excellent team. I'm really proud of the team. They've been hand-selected with the aim of moving into this more modern practice. And so we have nine of us. We've just added another youngster to the team, and she's working out really well. She's going to be really a good asset to us. But they are proud. I am proud of the team, and they are very instrumental to what we're doing up in CPT.
Fantastic. So we all understand the sort of the size and nature of the practice. We've got 2 categories to talk about. So talking first with the Clarity entry and that you won there. Tell us about the state your practice was in when you first started working with AVN, which wasn't that long ago, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was, relatively, it was this year. We were really in a sandstorm, if you can imagine what that's like. You can't see past your nose, and that's where we were. We were just firefighting, all the cliches that you can think of. That's what we were. And we were very demoralised. The team were demoralised. We had problems with cash flow. We had problems with workflow. We were at a point really where, although we hadn't lost any clients because of it, it was only a matter of time. So we really had to do something quickly and something quite radical. And so that's why we ended up on the journey, really. We as a team, we knew we needed to do something. And we talked about it, but we just didn't know how to get there. But we all agreed that it wasn't going to be an evolution that we needed, it was going to be a revolution that we needed. We need to do something quickly, something big impact for the clients. And that's why we signed up with AVN.
So there was some pain, wasn't there? What did you do first then, after the masterclass?
Well, at first I attended the masterclass on my own, and I went back and started raving about it, and I think they thought I'd lost the plot, because I was telling them all about these things. This is what we need to do. We do need to do that. And the problem with that is that you are a single voice of reason really within the practice. So straight away we signed up to have 2 of my team to come to the next masterclass. So that
which was just March this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, March this year. So they attended, and then they came back with the same enthusiasm, and then it quickly spread throughout the whole team, and all 8, 9 of them quickly got on board with it. So when we came back from that, we benchmarked the practice, and that was so scary. I almost felt physically sick because I could see so many areas that we really were underperforming. And really, personally, I've got a lot at stake on this business. It needs to be something that is going to provide for my future and my family. And university, I've got son going to university. All of these things were playing on my mind, and so it was a big eye-opener. So what we did initially, and this was the best thing that we ever did, and this is the catalyst for what we're doing, we formed an AVN steering group, and that was made up of the three of us that have attended the masterclass. And the idea behind that is that we meet fortnightly, every 2 weeks, usually in a pub after hours.
Sounds good already.
Yeah, depending on the agenda, if there's something needed on the computers and that sort of thing, we stay in the office. But we lock ourselves away. It's a dedicated time that we try extremely hard not to encroach onto. So it's time we put aside, and we just sit down and we have a short agenda, not too long, because if it was too long, we probably wouldn't get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that we've got bite-sized chunks that we address every fortnight, and we have to address them and answer to the chairman. Now, the chairman is our youngest member of staff.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How does that work? Why? And so on.
I mean, it's not just because he's the youngest member of the staff. It's because he is the best man for the job. In that he's got the drive, he's got the focus, he's got the enthusiasm to carry, and he's not scared to tell us when we're not doing something, you know. And also, I guess really that he's not polluted by past practices.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
So he's fresh. He's got his own ideas, but he's not bogged down by how we've done things in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that's worked extremely well for us.
I would have thought that takes quite a lot of humility for the partner to say, actually, someone else is much better equipped to play the chairman role.
But that's what I'm aiming for. It's not humility. It's just, and it's not laziness either. It's just, I think that the team need to be empowered.
Mm-hmm.
The Michael Gerber video is made. Well, not the video. Sorry, it was the book. It just made such an impact to me. I don't want to create a practice because the practice revolves around an individual. I want to create an accountancy business.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't turn up for whatever reason, if I get knocked down by a bus, then it continues.
Yeah.
And that's starting to happen, which I'll probably come on to a bit later.
So I know one of the things you made a lot of changes to is the way that you price. And I think it's really interesting. I think we launched Times Up and System Builder in this room 20 years ago, well, almost 20 years ago, the very first conference. Talk us through what you've done to change the way you price.
Well, straight away we did they took the advice on 10% across the board. That's the easiest thing you can do. We had no exception. We have no exceptions. So it's at least 10%. So there's times when it's obviously 20 more. We did 10% across the board, no exceptions and no objections.
No objections?
None at all, which is fantastic. So when we'd done that, we got a bit confident about that. And we then started looking at particular service areas, and we looked at company secretarial, for instance, and we were able to repackage it a little bit, but increase the cost, the revenue by 300% on that particular service level. So it's about bite-sized chunks. I mean, that equates to thousands a year, obviously. And it's about just looking at little areas that we can work on, improve, move on to the next bit. And from a pricing point of view, when we use Times Up to do that, it's a great tool. And sometimes it's just as a basis for what we do, what we talk to clients. But it's great. It works well for us.
Fantastic. What sort of difference then across the practice has that new approach to pricing made?
Massive approach. I mean, another thing that we've done, which we've changed the way that we do the billing. Again, we were about empowering the staff. And I thought it was time for a change in the way that we do the billing procedures. So we decided to get them to do the billing. So they take ownership of the billing. They know how much work they've got to do. It improves the workflow, and we get all that that done in a very, very tight deadlines. So they look at it on the first of the month, and it's out by the night time. And then we also encourage during the monthly billing as well. But we've had a massive impact. I mean, the first 3 months, if we're comparing year on year, the first 3 months of joining, our fees went up by 55%, 52% and 85% year-on-year comparison, which was great for obviously cash flow, for morale, which is really important obviously, and the workflow of jobs has improved as well.
Awesome. We need to move on to the second entry that you won, your value entry. And I know one of the first things you did was graded clients and then launched an A-star program. So talk us about those two things together, if you would.
Yeah, this was such an eye-opener. I mean, if you haven't done it, then you need to crack on with it, because it's absolutely fantastic. We graded our clients. Again, I didn't do it. We got the team to do it, because they're the ones that own the core face. They're the ones that put up with that stroppy client. They're the ones that deal with issues that we have. So they did it, and then I reviewed it, and we found that when we did the analysis, A and B clients accounted for 79% of our fees. The D clients were 6%. So that gave us the attitude, we were more bullish in how we treat the D clients, and we were able to make decisions about either to improve them or to move them on.
Yeah.
So that's worked really well.
And then you launched your A-star program. Talk us through that, if you would.
The problem that we had was that we had too many A clients. It was a nice problem to have.
You're not kidding.
No. So what we did, we took the top 10, and they are our A-star clients. So we've got an A-star program which we look after. These are the clients that are going to help us grow our practice the way we want. These are the ones that are receptive to what we want to do, receptive to new ideas, the ones that fit our ideal client profile, which we spent quite some time on. And we actually have that on the bottom of our emails. This is our ideal client. And they're the ones that we want to act for. And, they've got to be responsive. They've got to want to, though. That list has got to be reviewed, though, because some clients might change their attitudes, or we might change their attitudes, and we can take them down to the next level up.
Fantastic. And mindful of the fact we have 3 minutes, talk us through very quickly, in your entry there was a case study of a painter and decorator, and then at the other end of the spectrum an internationally renowned client. Talk us through very briefly what you did with those.
Okay, well we've one of the clients is a painter and decorator, high-end stuff. He does country houses, hotels, footballers' houses, and I had him in one day, and we've taken it from just doing compliance to management accounts, and I had him in one quarter, and I was talking to him, and I make a point now of in every meeting asking them what the why is. Why are you doing it? What's most important to you? And this guy said, Steve, his name. Steve says, most important to me is my family, without hesitation. I said, that's great. He said, but I'm working 7 days a week. I said, why are you working 7 days a week? He says, well, too busy. I said, well, you came to do some work for me, Steve, and you came on the morning with your guys, you said, set them away, and you came back on the night. I said, that's a total of 2 hours a day that you're doing that. And you didn't need to do that. The guys you got faith in the team. Therefore, you should just let them, ring them up if necessary. And he came back a couple of months later, and he said, it's great. He said, I only work 5 days a week. I look forward to 5 days. I can take my son to the rugby. It's just fun. So that was something. Didn't involve the numbers, but it made a bit of a
really
difference.
Practical, simple observation and insight, an actionable point changes his life. Genuinely, literally.
Yeah. Very briefly, the other client was something that we looked at the bookkeeping. They liked what we did, but we found a lot of errors, a lot of areas for improvement. So they asked us to do a virtual FD role. Which we did. We've done a lot of work on it, reduced costs, got up to a point where we're breaking even now, which we haven't done for a lot of years.
The client, not the practice.
Oh, the
yeah,
client,
the client, yes.
No, we're not there yet. No. Yeah, so we had that, and then we got a situation where we take them out for lunch, and that, you know, because they are an A-star client. And he said at the end of the lunch, "Thanks for what you do. We can now sleep at night." Which was fantastic.
That's what. So time with family and sleeping at night, those are priceless gifts, aren't they? In the interest of 49 seconds, sum up what the changes have meant to you and the firm. What have been the overall benefits?
I guess what I was like, I don't know whether you know that children's game that you used to play at parties where you I'd stand up and do a demonstration. You got the stick. You got the stick and you go like that and you go round and round and round. You get dizzy. And then you've got to get to a point in the distance. That's what I was like, because I was going all around like this. My head was all over the place. I was dizzy. And that's where we were. But I seem to have got my head right now. And I'm enjoying the journey, the AVN journey, with the use of the roadmaps, and long may it continue.
Fantastic. And with 2 seconds to spare, rapturous applause. Well done, Brian. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow.